Hi, my name is Kasia Sturgeon, and I am a BHT with Arizona DUI Services. And today we are going to have a group on healthy and unhealthy relationships and what that looks like in recovery. Okay, so healthy relationships. When someone says healthy relationship, what do you envision? I know for myself, I immediately think of trust, support, and respect. Those are huge for me. So, relationships are an important part of a healthy life. Research has consistently shown that social connections are critical for both mental and physical health. People who have healthy relationships have better health outcomes, are more likely to engage in healthy behaviors, and have a decreased risk of mortality. So let's see. So like I said, for me, I always think of trust, respect, and being supportive of one another. So, and it does take time to build trust in a relationship, especially, some of us that come from maybe not so healthy families. It trust is a really hard thing to come by. I mean, it doesn't just come naturally, and it takes time. And part of building trust is, that person being vulnerable and opening up and sharing as well. And for those of us that, maybe didn't grow up in a healthy environment, that's really difficult. So anyway, it does take time to build trust in a relationship. And for example, if your partner is dependable, treats you well, and is there when you need them, you are more likely to develop trust. And as that trust grows, the relationship becomes a great source of comfort and security. If you feel that you must hide things from your partner, it may be because you lack this essential trust. And you shouldn't have to hide anything from, your partner, your friend, even, a family member. So, and then the other one I wanted to touch on was the mutual respect. It involves listening to the other person. And I feel like adults, we can all practice active listening. I think there's a big difference between listening and active listening. And it, again, something that takes practice and patience, and active listening is really giving that person all of you. I mean, you are completely tuned in. You're not, looking at your phone. You are completely focused on that person. And by doing that, by showing that active listening, you are showing that person that you respect them, and that they can trust you. So active listening, it's funny because there's times that I swear my husband was not listening to me, and then he can tell me exactly what I was rambling on about. So so definitely saying that both men and women need to practice active listening. And especially if you're a parent, and you have teenagers or little ones, again, that active listening is very important. So it can be very beneficial in all of your relationships. So, and then I'll touch on mutual respect a little more. Being understanding and forgiving. We all make mistakes, and so it's very important to, just being forgiving and understanding, and, not making your partner, feel even worse. I mean, most likely they already feel bad, and they just need you to, just be understanding. We all make mistakes. And then building each other up. I said that's huge. The last thing you want to do is, tear your wife or your husband down or your child. And then, that breaks that trust and that respect and the good communication. Let's see, making time for that individual, definitely important, especially, if you're married, very important to make time for your husband or your wife. If you're a parent, very important to make time for each child. I like to spend one-on-one time with my kids at least once a week. They're both very different, different ages, boy and girl. So, I mean, I just try to do that one-on-one time with them to make them feel special. So, and then taking an interest in what your partner is passionate about, being supportive and encouraging. We said that. And showing that you appreciate one another. And, of course, empathy. So, yeah, as you can see, it's a good list of healthy healthy relationships, what it looks like. And again, takes time. A lot of us did not have this maybe, growing up in our families. So it's never too late to learn. Let's see. And then it is normal to have a conflict in relationships, and it's important to know how to argue and resolve differences. And that's going to happen. Like, that's a normal part of a healthy relationship. It does not mean, not confronting the issue at hand, or, tiptoeing around that person. Like, that is the opposite of healthy. It's really important for people to, work out their differences or their opinions, and, you can move forward. I mean, I think it's important also for children to see that, like, their parents aren't always like we have disagreements, and it's okay for kids to see, like, that healthy, back and forth of, like, okay, we disagree on this, but, like, let's try to understand each other. Let's listen. Let's work through it. And then they can see that their mom and dad can still come together and, like, be one. Like, they can still get along and they love each other. And that's a normal part of a healthy relationship. And then also, kind of adding on to that, so even having conflict in a relationship, it can be an opportunity to strengthen a connection with that person. So, you may have a disagreement with that person, say your spouse, but those things can sometimes really strengthen a marriage. And that's kind of where we can, learn to be vulnerable, and you can be honest and open, and that can really, change a relationship, a marriage. So anyway. All right, so that leads us into unhealthy relationships. So relationships can change over time, and not every relationship is 100% healthy all of the time. Especially, times of stress that can lead to unhealthy behaviors and coping mechanisms that can create more problems. So, some common stressful things I think in relationships are, a big one seem to be like finances, health issues. I know, personally, I've had some major health issues, and it completely changed the dynamics in our household. And, at one time, my husband was kind of taking care of everything, the kids and the house, but in a healthy relationship, I didn't feel bad. He was very supportive, and yeah, he was very supportive. It was a very tough time for our family, But anyway, we were not always there. So we've, had, oh my gosh, about 20 years. So we've gone through a lot. It was not always like that. But so yeah, health issues, maybe someone is using drugs or alcohol. Maybe there's something going on with one of your children. I know that can create a lot of stress, and it can, create a lot of changes in the home and the way that people respond to things. So anyway, just keep that in mind. There is no perfect relationship. Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of hard work to, have a healthy relationship. So anyway, so some of the unhealthy relationship things I have listed here are, feeling pressure to change who you are, neglecting your own needs to put your partner first, lack of privacy, feeling like you have to hide things, or, maybe your spouse or your partner, or, someone, they are always, like looking at your phone. Yeah, just not, yeah, you feel like you have no privacy. And that's really important, that you have your own privacy. Unequal control over shared resources, such as money, transportation, attempts to control your behavior, poor communication. Maybe you avoid each other. Maybe you don't even communicate. Maybe you don't listen. You cut each other off when you do talk. You yell at each other. Those are all, signs of poor communication. Avoiding one another. That's another one. If you find yourself avoiding that person, or whether it's your family member, spouse, that's definitely not a healthy part of a relationship. Another one is that you're fearful of the other person. Definitely not healthy. You should never be afraid of your spouse, or another family member, a friend. Another sign of an unhealthy relationship is mistrust. You feel like you can't tell that other person anything. You feel like you have to tiptoe around them. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. And then, of course, any sort of abuse, emotional, physical, sexual, if you are in that situation, we do have resources to seek help. And then, so how do I build a healthier relationship? So again, not all of us were raised in, I think most of us were not raised, in maybe a healthy family, healthy environment. So we don't even know what this looks like, okay? So we have to learn. And I feel like with age and, just life circumstances, events, you learn. So definitely, making time for one another, schedule dates, set aside time each week to focus on one another. Again, I'll just use my husband and I as an example. We always go for a walk at least once a week together. We go for a walk, or we'll, go on a bike ride. We'll be able to hike here pretty soon once it cools down. So definitely, setting aside a time, even if it's having a cup of coffee with each other in the morning, very important. And, showing appreciation. Sometimes those little things, just even, leaving a little sticky note for your spouse, just thanking them for, just being a good spouse, um, gosh, we haven't done this in a long time, but my husband and I used to like get each other, well, we're also trying to eat better, candy bars or something, and just with a little note, and it's so small, but it's huge. It shows you that that person is thinking of you and they appreciate you, and it makes that other person feel very special and loved. So, and that's so important. You could try new things together. You could take a class or try a new hobby that you both enjoy. And just breaking out of the same old routine. And this is kind of, I guess, geared more toward marriage, maybe, but in marriage especially, I think you can, or a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, you can just kind of get into this old routine and you get bored. It's being an adult is not fun. It can get boring. So just doing something new, doing stuff that makes you feel like a kid again is really fun. So, and just continuing to work on communication with each other. I don't know, however you and that person maybe connect. I know, like my husband and I, we like the same music, so we talk about music a lot. We used to go to concerts together. We haven't done that in forever, and so that's another thing that we would like to do now that we're, our kids are older, and we'd like to go to a concert again. We haven't gone to a concert together since we were, I think, in our 20s, early 20s. So anyway, yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can do, and to build on, to make your relationship healthier, and it's worth it, And I know all of these don't. I feel like this was more focused on like a marriage or relationship, but you can also, some of these, you can still apply them, to relationship with your sister, your mother, your father. I know family, it can get a little more trickier, but you can apply these with, a friend. I mean, when was the last time you let your friend know how much they mean to you, even sending them a text message and just telling them, hey, I know we don't get together often, but like, I just want to tell you, you're such a good friend. In fact, I'm going to do that when I'm done with this because I haven't done that in a long time. So anyway, I hope that this helps. Again, especially in recovery, and I've gone through recovery myself. When I was 20, I went to treatment. That was a very long time ago, but I did not know what a healthy relationship looked like. I had just gotten out of a very, very toxic relationship, and I was so used to chaos and like fighting and yelling, and so I did not know what that looked like. I had no clue. And then I definitely didn't have a healthy marriage modeled for me. I mean, love my parents. That's just how it goes. So sometimes we do have to learn this on our own, but there's so many resources. If I can help with anything else, that's what we're here for. But anyway, I just want to thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you.